There we are. My name is Alan Roberts. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's having a great Friday. And tomorrow literally marks, and I actually have this here for us, but tomorrow marks 1,826 days of me not binging. Now, I can't believe I have to do this in 2026. It's insane to me. But I had to apostrophe out the I in binge because we have people that can openly talk about how being 400 pounds is fine, and we have people making money off of gluttoning themselves on camera and making sex noises while eating. But if you discuss how to help stop people from binge eating, that is apparently a problem for all of these social media entities. Like, so somehow me talking about how I have remained binge free for the last 1,825 days, the things I've done to get there, somehow that is something that should be suppressed by social media. But James Bola eating 6 pizzas for breakfast, that's monetized. Somebody make it make sense. Like, this is a wild thing to experience. I don't know how people don't see it. Like, over here, by the way, just in case those of you are wondering, over here is our new app. It's Hunger Free and Happy app. And we are opening it up to a small amount of people right now, and then we are going to actually have it be much larger. Obviously, we're going to be adding Google ads to the free tier and those sorts of things. But you can go sign up for it. It's at this link right here, hungerfreeandhappy.app. Or you can just sign up for 1 year of coaching through our old app, and I will set you up over here. The coaching for this app on our new app is going to be much more expensive. That is the last chance deal, so please do take advantage of that. But here is where you can get it. You can, is it going to come up? There we go. You can just go straight through hungerfreeandhappy.app, or you can or just get a year's worth of coaching, and I'll put you right on the app. But I did want to go over how I have maintained this for 5 years, and I want everybody to understand that I didn't just one day decide to stop binging and then went 5 years until today. Like, this was a very serious process. It took a long, serious time. I probably started very much paying attention to controlling my binge eating disorder about 8 years ago. So, and I had lost a bunch of weight. I lost in the first 3 years, I lost 100 and some pounds, started keeping it off, but that did not stop me from binging. And then when the pandemic hit, when I was saying true shit and everybody was sending me death threats for saying true shit, I started having some binges, just stress involved. And then tomorrow, and I don't talk about this often, but tomorrow is the anniversary of me putting the dog down that I had when Crystal and I got together, when my wife and I got together. And I had him from a previous relationship, and he was my everything for a while. And if you are unfamiliar with the channel, I am a huge redneck, and I would burn the entire world down for my family and my animals. All of you would be fucked. So true, right? But many years ago now, on that date, we on January 17th was when we put him down. And every year, the anniversary of it is tough on me because, again, I love my animals more than I love people. So that particular January 17th of 2021, I had received 6 or 7 death threats early that morning. Didn't sleep well, didn't hydrate well for a couple of days leading up to the anniversary, and pretty much proceeded to eat everything in the house. So my wife and I sat down and tried to figure out what I did wrong, where the disconnect was, why I know I should not be eating these foods at what would be considered high velocity, meaning I would just wolf down anything I could get a hold of at that point in time. If there was protein bars in the cabinet, they were all gone. I ate everything, right? And that's what binging is like for me. It's different for everybody else too. Binging is a very psychological thing. It's not a physiological thing that can be necessarily tracked down. But it's, for me, it manifests where it's almost like I'm watching a movie of myself glutton myself. I'm literally watching a movie of me glutton myself, and that's a problem. That is, no kidding, a serious problem. Uh, the main thing we did immediately was we sat down to talk about it. On the app, you can see here, like if I have craving, if I crave or binge, I can log a craving or I can log a binge. That's where the binge tracker came from, is I logged a binge from 5 years ago. But I keep track of my cravings. I keep track of my binges. And what we used to do is like, okay, you're craving this. Why? Why are you craving this? That's why we kind of came up with the hunger management method, because then we were like, okay, well, if I eat something sweet earlier on in the day, after we tracked all this information, we realized a pattern where I was going to, I was feeling hungrier more throughout the course of the day because we started keeping track of hunger scores. So one of the biggest things I did was increase, was started taking a different look at how like how I viewed binges, right? Like, of course, it's upsetting. I'm a binge eater where I would binge cycle, meaning like I'd binge one day from stress and everything like that, and then the next day I still have the stress from binging, the stress I had that made me binge the first day, but I also had the stress from binging. So therefore, now I have more stress, so then I binge again normally. So I am what's called a cycle stress binger. And we try to avoid that at all possible costs. Also, now we did realize that sleep plays a huge important role. I do have a very hyper mind, so me closing my mind down at the end of the night is not easy. I do take, and we have instituted, 1,200 milligrams for me of magnesium glycinate every single night, about a half hour before I'm ready to fall asleep. That has helped tremendously, tremendously. I also do occasionally take some Blue Lotus, which is very pleasurable and legal. Uh, and it does help me very much reduce my stress down. So I'll take one of those gummies, and I'll sometimes take some magnesium glycinate, and sleep is under control. I oftentimes don't take anything, and still sleep is good. If I start having an issue again, meaning like, hey, I didn't sleep real well that night, I take an assessment. That's another thing you can do on here. Like, I already logged my sleep for today, but basically this, we would log our wake up time right here, and then you would log the duration of sleep. The quality of sleep is the important thing, right? If you ask me. So we started checking out the quality of sleep I was having, and then we built what we called a sleep hygiene routine, like a nighttime routine before bed. Read a book, watch a little TV, make sure you take a contrast shower, those sorts of things. So we started taking notes like this, and then we started tracking what worked best and what didn't work. So sleep, and making sure I didn't beat myself up over the binge. Because the idea is you want to learn as much as you can from negative things so you don't repeat them, right? So I went on, from those two things to the next bang for your buck, hydration. And I still struggle with hydration today, to this very, very day. I still struggle with hydration. It's not an easy thing for me to do. For some reason, I take in about a gallon and a half to 2 gallons of water a day, and that is not an easy task. Sometimes I did, honestly, we set this up just for me, but on the app you can scroll down and you can set hydration reminders, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was testing this one out for 7:58, 9, 12:15. We ought to be getting one actually before too long here. So that way it reminds me to hydrate every hour or so during the day, and then I am able to stay hydrated. So I'm trying to take in about 185 ounces of water in a day, and the reminders are helping. But we've been doing the reminders on my phone in the meantime. So the biggest thing we did at the very beginning of the last 5 years was we sat back and started viewing the binges differently. It was this thing, like, it was not a pleasurable event. It's not something that we should be happy about, but it was something that we instead learned from, instead of beating ourselves up over. We definitely fixed the sleep, and we really try hard to fix the hydration. And the next thing from there was obviously to try to keep the ultra processed food down. Like right now, this is my day so far. I've drank 80 ounces of water. I actually need to up that because I just got done drinking about 40 ounces. So I'll just put it in. And I want to stay on top of it. So here we go. I've got about 120 ounces in. I was scheduled to do a workout right now, but that's more of a test. Tonight I have a date planned with the wife, so I'm very excited about that. And I have no activity in yet today because I really haven't had any activity. But one of the things we've started doing is I started making sure to track my ultra processed food. So basically, like, let's go to one of my saved meals here. my saved breakfast meal. It's a ribeye and sausage. Add these two items. That is 2% ultra processed. So another thing I think the app does, it's amazing. It helps keep track of the ultra processing you're having throughout the day. For instance, this has me at 2% right now and 610 calories. Let's say later on, I would have some pizza. And of course, this is all test stuff too, by the way. This is 65% ultra processing and it's 405 calories. So if you take a look at what it does, it then figures out my percentage for the day. It increases the calculation to 27% because of what the pizza. So I keep track of that. I try, and that's honestly, I would never eat pizza in the middle of the day. It's insane. I used to, it's for fucking sure. But I'm going to release this one because that's not actually happening. So I keep track of my ultra processed food percentage too. And that, I think, that is the biggest health tip for anybody that I've learned throughout this entire process and doing all the research we've done. If you keep your ultra processed food intake below 10% for the week cumulatively, your weight is normally going to take care of itself, and so will your hunger. That's the biggest thing. If you are hydrating and avoiding ultra processed food and getting proper sleep, you should be good to go. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy. You do need to watch out for your stress. Obviously, make sure you get plenty of activity in. We do a thing called we plan out indulgences, making sure that we allow ourselves to have fun, but we also make sure that we understand it's an indulgence. It's not to be our everyday foods. We plan before and after too. So please do check out the app. I'm looking very forward to it. It's going to be on the Google Store before too long, and it will be on the iOS Store before too long. And we will have a complete free tier for it that people can just log their food and everything like that if they want to, but there will be ads on it for those people. I am going to. So how do I reduce cortisol? This is a good question, Janet. So there's a few things you can do. Ashwagandha is a supplement that does help reduce cortisol levels in the body. But the biggest thing besides that is you can make sure you're not putting stress on your body in multiple different ways. So obviously there is the emotional and physiological stress of just people being stupid around you. Like, that's the world we live in, is there's so many stupid people that you're going to have to be frustrated at some point in given time. It's sad to say, but it's just the truth, right? But there's also other types of stress. There's oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is when you kind of put your body through more than what it's ready for. Like, think about oxidative stress is like if you work out for 5 hours past like the normal capacity of what your body's used to, you're putting a lot of oxidative stress on your body. You're putting a lot of like wear and tear on your body. So things like that can actually add to it. Now, don't get me wrong, exercise, especially exercise appropriate for your fitness level activity, is very, very good to help also bring cortisol levels down. But you don't want to over exercise either. You don't want to push yourself to the point where it's almost compulsive. Get some activity in a day. Take a walk outside. Get exposed to sunlight. Get some vitamin D. That also helps lower cortisol. And I would definitely suggest some either meditation or breathing exercises, those sorts of things. Not hydrated enough is also bad for your joints. Your body prioritizes internal organs, and all other water goes there, not your joint lubrication. This is also very, very true. Thank you very much, Banjos. But to even add to that, that is how you end up with long-term joint problems. As D Banjos said over here, like, that is a big thing. Your body prioritizes the organs, but there's also the fact that if you're not moving your joints don't really get blood flow to it. The cartilage inside of your joints very much needs movement to kind of compress it and squeeze it and make it like, it's a sponge almost. So it kind of pulls stuff back in. So please do understand that that's an important task also. It's an important aspect of all this also. And then, basically one of the biggest things is I always talk about is make sure you get appropriate fitness of activity. We just started talking about this, and that's one of the things that I think people don't understand. Anybody can get this. Like, if you take a look, here's all the programs we're going to have on here, or excuse me, that we have on here already. And I'm about to add about 4 or 5 more today, I think, or over the weekend. So we're going to be having tons of workouts there, pretty much appropriate for anybody. But also, this is for premium and up, by the way. There's free, ad-free, basic, premium, and coaching. So premium and up gets the workouts, and you get access to as many of them as you want at any given time. Our volume training program is on here. Lean mass will be on here. The TRX circuit programs, which are my love, are going to be on here. So that's kind of how we made sure that we are taking care of ourselves. Like products, it's ultra processed food like products. I do keep forgetting that at the ending to it. My bad. The funniest thing is when I drink a lot of water, even though I may need to get up at night, I still feel more rested compared. Yeah, absolutely. Now that's another thing too. We do talk about it. If you saw, so I can show you again. If you take a look at my all of my my reminders, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then once we get to midday, I stop. This is basically me trying to remind myself to drink 30 ounces of fluid at each of these given times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is around 200 ounces of fluid in a day, if I can remember to do that before midday. And while that may seem excessive, I do make sure I add sodium and electrolytes to it. But then I'm pretty much very well hydrated for the rest of the day. I've probably taken like another 20 or 30 ounces of fluid total for the rest of the day. And therefore I'm not waking myself up having to pee every 15 minutes too. So that does help out a lot if you're interested in doing that. But anyway, folks, I am going to be off. I might be back over the weekend to talk more about this. We are heavily working on the app, fixing any little bugs for that we're finding in the pre-launch basically, and we're also making sure we get it up onto Google and iOS as soon as humanly possible. So I hope all of you have a phenomenal day. My name is Alan Roberts. I hope to see you all soon. God damn.